I had a Navy SEAL in here named Jocko Willink who has a podcast now, and he's written some really amazing books. And he spent 3 hours dissecting the My Lai massacre and just looked at it as also just a leadership failure, and went through almost minute by minute what was being said on the radios and everything that happened. And it was just fascinating to see someone from the military going in and looking at what a mess of what happened and trying to figure out why and how that, to make sure something like
Don't
that never happened again.
understand. Don't understand the kids that come out. West Point has a lot of problems, but they produce a lot of kids that have integrity. They produce a lot of people that just protect their bosses and know how to get ahead. But after that, I ran into somebody who won a Medal of Honor, who had to leave the war, had to resign his commission because he could not lead troops anymore as stupidly as being told to do it. Send them up a mountain where the North Vietnamese have all the guns on top of them because the lieutenant colonel wanted to get a star. And because every lieutenant colonel in that war, the Vietnam War, after a certain period, after 68 already, until the end, if they served 6 months without getting shot, they got a Silver Star. And there was a group in Saigon, a group of kids that wrote the awards. They were all fake, but everybody got a Silver Star. Wow. So if you served as a lieutenant colonel, and I mean, that was written about. My friend Gloria Emerson, who worked on the New York Times, who was a wonderful reporter, she wrote about it. The Times didn't want to run it. This is in 71, 72. They fought that story for days. She finally said, she wrote a letter to the foreign editor. She said, his name, well, it doesn't matter what his name is. She said, using his name, when you were in Vietnam, you filed through Reuters. Reuters has the best communication, North Star, whatever they called it. Even when I was there in Hanoi, I had to file through North Star. It made me feel bad. I had to go to in North Vietnam. I had to give a lot of money, $10,000, to a cable office in Hanoi that they probably used to buy bullets to kill my fellow soldiers. But I had to do it, and so she said to one of the senior editors of the New York Times, he held the story for three days. It doesn't matter what his first name is. She said, saying his first name, if you do not run that story, I will resign. Repeat, resign, repeat, resign. And she was a wonderful correspondent. And she did it for 3 days, and finally they ran the story. Wow. But it wasn't always easy. And not just for me, for others too, if you wanted to report things that were uncomfortable. But this one, one of the things, I got to go, man. I got somebody else, I got Ralph Nader to talk to him. And when Ralph calls, I always say yes.
Ralph Nader?
Yeah, because he made a mistake. He ran against the Democrats, but he did so much to make things in the world safer for children, safety.
He's a legend.
And I've known him forever. But the thing is, my answer to the problem of the media is not the reporters. The New York Times has a bunch of really first-rate guys. I think 90% of the editors should go, and 90% of the editors on national television should go, because they got the wrong idea. They don't get it. And I've said that for years, and I don't say it casually. I've watched at the Times that when they had a choice to promote somebody, most of the time they pick somebody who would go along more than somebody who would be a little more truculent. And I left the Times because they happened to pick somebody to be promoted in the Washington Bureau, who's a wonderful editor. And one day I was doing something in 1979 for the Washington Bureau. Something about corporations. And he came to me and he said, well, I think your time's up here. I said, why? I was writing about a corporation that had troubles, and the letter to the cable that he got from the head of the business desk and the editor of the business pages of the Times was, size on this, but you have to be careful because we all know he's notoriously anti-business. I quit the next day.
Wow.
He said to me, he thought it was the stupidest goddamn metal he's ever seen, because I write stuff that make corporation people unhappy.
Yeah.
Duh. I don't know.
Seymour, I think
what can I tell you?
What's missing here is proper, old school, well-trained journalists like you in this world. And, they don't make them like you anymore. And look, I watched all the President's Men. I watch, you know, a fictionalized version of a time maybe when there was real reporting being done and making hard decisions being made by these editors in chief. And I don't even know if that exists anymore. Maybe it never will exist again. And that's why it takes 85-year-old Cy to break this story when nobody else can.
That's why I'm sure people talk to me about it, because they knew I would do it.
Yeah.
What do I care about slings and arrow? I mean, when you have an interview with the guy that is accused of killing 109 Vietnamese, premeditated killing in a place called My Lai, and you have a copy of the Army charge sheet, and you can't get newspapers, maybe Nixon's president. I'll tell you something about America, though, that sticks with me. Here I did that story, and I'm sticking two fingers in the eye of Richard Nixon, the newly elected Republican president. And in most countries, I would be in the gulag. But then instead, fame, fortune, and glory. I'm exalted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can I walk away from this country? You know, particularly where I came from, the wrong side of the tracks, in the wrong side of a city.
Yeah.
The only thing I did all my life was read. I never bothered to read the school books, but I always read. So that was another factor. I read about, I read a lot about the early days of the Roman Church and the Inquisition. So we've been there before. We've had bad times when the leadership didn't know what was going on. I'm leaving you because we've talked now for 2 days.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. But
you were great to call me.
We'll close on that note.
I know what you do.
My name is Jim Rickards. I'm a former advisor to the CIA, Department of Defense, and the White House. In a moment, you'll have my own evidence that very few people have seen. You'll see how I believe two acts of democratic stupidity are about to combine into a storm that will change America forever, the American Energy Armageddon. In fact, due to specific circumstances created by the Armageddon, it's possible you could now win big while others lose. You see, there's a universal truth. In times of crisis, money moves. During the coming energy Armageddon, most Americans will face new hardships, but not all. A few will win and win big. You're about to see how the energy Armageddon could create a one-time opportunity to secure new substantial wealth. If you want in, keep watching. Right now, today, America is running out of gas, diesel, and oil. Our national fuel reserves are down 50% or more from where they should be. It's so urgent, major suppliers are calling it a code red emergency. We don't have the refining capacity to catch up, and we're shipping most of what we have to Europe to bail them out of Calamity Joe's Nord Stream crisis. We're now facing catastrophic fuel shortages I predict will collapse our nation's energy grid. When it happens, every citizen will see firsthand the Dems' obsession with green energy is a scam. In fact, I'm going to show you my evidence that outs them as shameless hypocrites. That's not all. I predict this storm will bring about a new social order to our country. Many who are now rich will find their accounts drained, and those who are poor will turn to desperate measures to survive. I'm talking about civil unrest, a massive crime wave, and violence in our streets. Most will suffer under Biden's energy Armageddon, but not everyone. Some good Americans will win. They'll take advantage of wealth-building opportunities created by the upheaval, which I'll reveal here today, to vastly improve their personal economic situation. And that's the most important thing I want to share with you. Now, if the idea of winning while others suffer makes you uncomfortable, no problem. Then this presentation is not for you. But the way I see it, our great nation was built during times of crisis when a few smart people recognized opportunity and seized it. If you see the storm coming, if you know Calamity Joe and his ilk are steering us straight into it, and you want to not just survive, but thrive by using the crisis potentially to grow your personal wealth, then you're exactly who I want to reach today. Give me about 3 minutes of your time. I'm going to show you everything right now.
Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.